Hey, what's up? I'm Piccolo Black, and today we're going to be looking at the noteGRABBER, which is made by the content creator Navie D. You've probably seen his videos around. He just dropped this new VST that helps with sampling. So we're going to test it out and see what we think. Real quick, if you like what you've seen in today's video and you found it useful, or you just enjoy these videos in general, hit that subscribe button, join the crew, maybe like and share. I don't know. It's up to you. Let's get to the video. noteGRABBER is a VST that converts audio to MIDI. It can be very useful for samples or grabbing notes for your bass lines, your melodies, your harmonies. And now you might be thinking, right, but my DAW already does that. And yeah, that's the competition. It looks like Navie D has found a hole in the market where, yeah, sure, we can do that. But if you're someone that uses Ableton, you will know that there is no visualizer for what notes you're grabbing until they've already been grabbed. So this is the answer to, can we have a good conversion tool? So let's find out if it's good or not. This sample is called Left Behind by Cymatics. It's in 82, so we're gonna bump this up to 82. It's in F minor. So I got noteGRABBER here again. Record is on, and we're just gonna play a nice little loop of the sample. Alright, so we'll just stop it there. Turn off the record button so it doesn't go too far. I'll also do a comparison with Ableton as well to see how well it picks up on all of these notes. And I'm gonna fast forward through this because this is a lot of work to make sure everything's right where you want it to be. Wow, okay, so I did that. I grabbed most of the stuff that I felt was gonna pop out. Now, Navie D says that this is supposed to make it a faster process. In some ways, I can see that. Would it be quicker to put it in Ableton and just transpose it that way into a MIDI file? Yes. But then you're still gonna have to go in and surgically remove notes that don't make sense. Here, you can do that as you go if you know music theory. If you don't know music theory, you're just going in blind and grabbing whatever and hoping that it works out. And then you're still gonna have to go in and surgically remove everything that doesn't sound right later on anyway. So I could see both sides of the argument, saying that either this is very useful, and I can see why people would think that it takes just as long. It kind of depends on your priorities and what you wanna do. All right, let's hear it. I say a lot of these notes at the top. I don't like them. Maybe it's because of the sound of my keyboard. This sounds really nice. And now I could take that and make a whole song out of it. We'll just copy paste this whole thing into my electric bass. Let's not use that. Let's use this sound. It sounds kind of aimless though. Let's split the sounds up. So let's take the highs and put them in a different sound. We'll put this in my synth down here and see how this sounds. Everything up to E3. And let's play the original sample. It's close. It's really close. Now, I guess just for the sake of the video, let's take this and put this as a MIDI file and see who wins. Okay, that looks a little bit different. Up to about I think it was E3. On the left, we have Ableton's MIDI export of the sample, and then on the right, we have noteGRABBER. I've separated it by piano, synth, and bass. Let's hear it. Now we've got Navie D version. Ableton's one is good. If you're on a budget and you're trying to make sure that you're not spending too much on plugins, I would just stick to Ableton's one because it's good enough. It's showing you the right route, and then you just got to go in and do that extra work to make it sound right and just play it along with the sample. You'll be fine. I would say though, it would be nice if it showed you what scale it's in for people that don't have any music theory, but you can see each note here in the bottom right corner. Why did I point? You can see each note here in the bottom right corner when you're hovering over a note, so you know what you're looking at, which helps too. The reset button is very useful if you made any mistakes. Let's see how the range works right quickly. Hit record and go. Wow. Yeah, so don't blast the range all the way up. It's like, all right, so then let's play it with the range all the way down. Yo, I actually think this might work better with the range lower. Is that crazy? So check this out. So the range, I'm going to turn it up a little bit, and maybe it will stop you from picking up horrible notes. The gain wasn't high enough. Let's hear how that sounds. Okay, the gain is too high. I don't know, man. I think there's a sweet spot to this. You don't want the range too high. You don't want the gain too high. And I think that also, like, why is it not letting me draw? Oh, it's still recording. Okay. You have to stop. Don't forget to stop recording or it will not draw. I think maybe he should have made the whole light on the button glow instead of just a tiny thing, or make it red or something. Also, there's no undo button. It needs this. Navie D, please. This needs an undo button. I got these acoustic guitar freestyles sent through to me by my friend Alison Payne. Go check out her music. Her EP is sick. When you download noteGRABBER, there's a tutorial that tells you how to use it. You're supposed to get noteGRABBER and throw it on like an effect. Continue trial, because I'm doing a 14-day trial. Hit the record button and press play. Stop the record and go back, and I guess I can now highlight what I want and drag it in as a MIDI file. So let's try that. So just highlight here. Wait, let me undo that. So to undo it, you just hit the reset button here. So I'm just going to drag across this one. Okay, so now that I've got all the notes that I want, I'm going to drag MIDI. So let's just do that. Let's just drag it in. Let's drag it over here. I'm going to put it in one of my pianos to start off with. Okay, so that kind of sounds nice. Okay, so far so good. So I've cut another part of the guitar freestyle, and I want to test it on that too, because I basically cut it so I've got like a verse and then like a B section. Let's grab all the notes out of the B section and see what happens. the best way to use this is to tweak it as you're recording as a test to see, you know, to really get it tuned in. And then once you've tuned it in, then you can start drawing out the MIDI keys. So like, let's use this as an example. Needs more gain, less range. Reduce the range a bit. So I'd say that's the sweet spot. So now I'm going to go in and re-record that. Turn it back down to a ×1 speed. Hit the reset button and hit record. And then we draw that out. Please add an eraser tool to this. I will buy this if this has an eraser tool. Right now, this is kind of crazy. I guess you should know that you're doing it wrong before you finish drawing out the line, is the expectation here. Also, don't let go of the drag unless you're completely sure that you have the right note. I wish, you know, Ableton had this in it embedded. I think just being able to see, like, oh, I could just pick out the bass notes. You don't have to pick out every single note. If you just want to do the bass for a sample, you're good. And you can kind of plan as you go, especially like for someone like me that knows what I want to sample. You can kind of plan what parts you want the high notes in and kind of figure it out as you go, which is pretty cool. I actually really like this. I can't lie. It's a little bit therapeutic in some ways. Is that weird? All right. So we grab this again and we're just going to try it out and see what comes out of it. We're going to do it with the piano and then we're also going to do it with a MIDI guitar sound. So let's test this out right now. Oh my God. I can hear that that's not something I want to hear. I'm going to transpose this. So I'm going to transpose this. I'm going to take out all the low notes. Let's play that along with the sample. Okay, so I can see there's some things that need fixing there, but that's a great start. Like, I can use that. I think it's struggling with the changing chord, but let's change it to a guitar and see how it sounds. Anyone that's got contact that's watching this video, do you enjoy the new, like, how this looks? Because I find myself going back to rack view frequently. We'll do it with electric vintage melody. Yo, that's not bad. Like, that's actually not bad. Let's try it with Ableton's transposition and see which one sounds more authentic. And then we'll play them side by side and see which one sounds better. All right, so we're gonna pick harmony. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay. We'll change the color to yellow and I'm gonna do it the same due diligence. I'm gonna take out all the notes that are way too low. We took out most of the stuff we don't need. We'll keep the rest and then we'll just have a look at it. So on the left we have Navie D's and on the right we have Ableton Live 11. So let's just hear the difference. I like Ableton's one more for the guitar. I would say if you're trying to do like any detailed guitar samples, I would use Ableton, or I would test both of them. But Ableton is actually looking at the velocity as well as where things are coming in and out. Whereas Navie D's one, you've got to fix the velocity yourself. So that's just something to take into account. I would go with Ableton's one on this test. Let's play it alongside the sample. Yeah, I have to say Ableton wins that one. Ableton's is far more detailed. The velocity's all mapped out for you. I didn't even realize that before. We'll do one more test. So I've got one more test here. I'm gonna do another cymatic sample that's a bit more stripped down, less sounds in it, less clutter. It's in an E major, I believe. We're gonna tweak it at 2 times speed. Turn the gain down a bit. Alright, I think we got a good idea of what that should sound like. Change that to 1 times speed. Okay, so this one I feel a bit more confident about. I think it's got a little less going on. It has guitar in it, but it's not a crazy amount. All right, let's drag the MIDI in. We're gonna try with piano and then we're gonna try with guitar. That sounds good. I think that sounds great. Let's go down to guitar. And I would just clean it up. It sounds great. All right, so let's compare that to Ableton's one. And the reason I'm comparing it, for anyone that doesn't really know why I'm doing that, I'm comparing it to Ableton's because that's literally what the promo for this is. It's like the DAW ones don't do as good. Not specifically Ableton, because he didn't say which DAW he was using. That was the idea. It was the DAW ones that aren't doing their job. Let's change that. Where there's a harmony. Oh my god, that sounds so much sweeter. Hold on, let me turn it up. I guess a fairer test would be for me to blast up all of the velocity on Ableton, but the fact that Ableton doesn't do that and like kind of picks up on the velocity for you is very useful. Let's put that in the piano section. Should we because we can, should we randomize the velocity range? Just to give that, because we can. I think there's an argument to be made here that Ableton is able to do just a bit more. Converting audio to MIDI with Ableton isn't as bad as we make it out to be, I think. I think it obviously needs a bit of work. My prologue to my final thoughts, because I'm still going to use this for another 13 days and get a real feel for if I want to purchase this or not. I think it's really good. I think it's really good for people that know music theory and can quickly draw in the notes that they want. But then again, why wouldn't they just do that in the piano roll in the first place, right? If they're, if they got such a trained ear, if you've got such a trained ear and you know music theory, you probably don't need any of these things. You don't need a conversion tool. But for people that are mid to low level and they just need a visualization of it and they can just draw in what they want, maybe they just want to pull out the bass line of something, I'd say this is really good. How it compares to Ableton, I would say that where it has an up is when you convert audio to MIDI with Ableton, it can pull in the velocity data. I don't know how accurately it pulls in the velocity data, but it really helps. Whereas with the noteGRABBER, it pulls everything in at the highest level, so 127. And whether you like that or not depends on each user. Sometimes you may want that. So if I'm trying to pull in, I don't know, a guitar melody, maybe I wanna have the velocity set so I don't have to deal with it. But then other times, maybe it's something where you don't care if the velocity is set because it doesn't really matter because you're gonna put effects on it or whatever. One thing I would say is, Navie D, if you're watching this, please, please, please put an undo button on the noteGRABBER app. And if you let go of the tool whilst you're drawing out the MIDI key, you have to either just leave it there or reset the whole thing and start again. So maybe in a that could drive me crazy long term. So maybe in a 1.01 or the version 2, you can add like an eraser tool, which would be super cool because then you can just take out loads of different things. But I guess you can do that in a piano roll, or just add a undo button. I would be very grateful. I think a lot of people would be very grateful for that. I think the next thing to look out for is the fact that you have to kind of tune as you go. When they're using the VST, they won't realize it, but to really identify the range, you're gonna have to play it through once or twice. I would say do it in ×2 speed, and then you kind of tune in how the range should be depending on the sample. I'd say it's kind of weaker at dealing with guitar harmonies and better at dealing with piano. It really picks up those high velocity notes really well. So yeah, what did you think? Is it something that you would get? I'm not going to push anyone to purchase anything. What I would say is definitely try it. You get a 14-day free trial. It's a no-brainer, right? Just try it out, see how it goes. If you don't like it, delete it. If you do like it, buy it. I'm gonna keep playing with it and see if I want to keep it as something that I will always turn to. I can see some good examples of using this where it could really show its strengths. Is you've chopped up a sample, you don't want to use the sample for whatever reasons, copyright reasons, whatever, and now you want to grab the MIDI notes out of the chopped up version of the sample you've made, and now you've got a whole new melody that you can go play with, transpose, do whatever you want with. I think it's a great tool for that, and it can take your music production to the next level. Where its weaknesses are: velocity, no undo tool. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Share this video, subscribe, do the thing. I've been Piccolo Black. See you next time.